Hello and welcome to today's webinar brought to you by Eagle Technology. Today we're going to talk about taking control of your maintenance with CMMS. It's a topic we've discussed before, but today's going to take a little bit different drift, and so I hope you all can follow along. And as you have questions, please feel free to fill out the question the chat, and I'll try and answer the questions for you. My name is Harry Kohal. I'm Vice President of Business Development at Eagle Technology, and I'll be your guide today. Just an outline of what we're going to cover. For the logistics today, we're going to talk a little bit about Eagle. Who are we, in case there are people who do not know us. We're going to talk about CMMS. And I've got some overview questions that hopefully you'll ask yourself and have answers to. I'll give you a brief overview of Proteus MMX, and then we will have a demonstration of the product, and then hopefully have some time for questions and answers. So for those of you who don't know Eagle Technology, we've been in business for 30 years. We've got over 3,000 users in 34 countries. Our only business is maintenance software. We have recently added a new product that's integrated with our maintenance software for inspection management that captures data, ranges, trends, things like that. We have service request module and a number of other things that we'll show you today. We have partnerships around the world. We work with companies like Johnson Controls, Honeywell, Delta, and integrators of building management systems, because one of Eagle's strengths is the ability to integrate directly with a building management system. For those of you in manufacturing, we do the same thing with the shop floor. So let's ask ourselves some questions. How can CMMS help me take control? We'll talk a little bit about what goes on in the real world, but ask yourself, what type of data could help you manage more effectively? How can you better justify the services needed to protect the company's assets? And the real critical question, if I don't measure the right things, will I be able to manage? Can I manage costs, assets, people? And a lot of people say, can't I just do this with a spreadsheet or whiteboard? Well, in today's world, the answer is no, and we'll talk about that. I've run across a lot of people in maintenance that every day say, I come in, I'm busy, I do what I can, I'm stretched in too many different directions. And that's the real world. So trying to get out from under that is a difficult task. It takes tools, it takes processes to help you get out from underneath that mountain of work. We know everybody's doing the best job they can, but the real question is, how can I better, more effectively, bring things into control? We all are faced with regulatory bodies, whether it's in the United States or other countries. In the US, we have OSHA, we have the EPA, we have the CDC, the Department of Justice, we have local government regulations, we have state government regulations. And you say, so what's this got to do with maintenance? Well, these are all red flags. The web link that I'm showing you here, OSHA Gov, What's New, is an interesting web link if you've never looked at it. It shows all of the fines and regulatory changes that OSHA has put in place in the last 30 days. So let's just take a look at it. And I apologize for this not all fitting on the slide, but as we look at it, I'm going to go out of my PowerPoint mode here for a moment for you, and just bring down the data. This is data from the last 30 days. machine guards bypassed at a machining facility. I've been in organizations where the machine guards are missing, not only bypassed. $121,000 fine for construction company. A contractor, $44,000 in penalties. Food supplier, $76,000 in penalties. Food supplier, $76,000 in penalties. A different region, okay, day apart. Life-altering injury at a General Aluminum Manufacturing Ohio foundry. Workers exposed to machine hazards. The list goes on, and we can scroll through this, and you can go to the website and look at these. $200,000 in fine. We get down to the top of the list here, and as of yesterday, a plastics recycler, $318,000 in fines for repeated serious violations. If there are no fines, that still exposes the company, if OSHA finds you negligent, to legal implications, civil legal implications, okay? So these types of things are part of maintenance. And if you're working in this type of a mode, how do you get to the proper control of your environment? It's not senior management that's going to take the fall for this. It's the maintenance department in a lot of cases. Well, Proteus MMX is a tool. It's not going to solve all of the problems, but it's going to help you manage, identify, and control what you can. So Proteus identifies what assets do we have? What condition are they in? Are they operational? Have they been maintained properly according to the manufacturer's directions? If you do that, you limit the liability of the organization. You can keep track of parts in inventory, okay? If I don't have the right parts on hand at the right time to repair something, I'm in a situation where I'm not going to be able to prevent potential injuries. So the real task is making sure I have the right parts at the right time to do the right job. I need to track my people, okay? Not for the fact of what are they doing, but are they doing the right thing at the right time? Are we putting our energy where it's going to protect the company, where it's going to have the best return on investment? Okay? Running to failure can only be accounted for if you have extensive data that proves running to failure is a good methodology. If you don't have that data, running to failure is not a good prevention model. So Eagle's MMX software covers these areas and gives you access via mobile devices to be able to create work orders, create assets, use parts, keep track of parts, and so forth. Some of the key features of the product are that it's customizable and robust. Eagle has clients in virtually every type of industry throughout the world, whether it's warehouse distribution, gaming, casino, restaurants, hospitals. We have clients in virtually every industry, offices, governments, you name it. We can support multi-location management. Each facility can be treated as an individual building with floors, rooms, and areas. And if I have buildings in different cities where people don't travel between them or have no need to see the other work, we have ways of segregating that. We can schedule tasks, comprehensive tasks, for the right cycle, so that I don't have a weekly and a monthly coming out on two different work orders. We allow the combination so that the right tasks are given to the person at the right time, and we avoid sending two people to do two different jobs at two different times. We've got reports and graphs, we've got key performance indicators, and we support multiple languages and currencies. Right now there's about 18 different languages that we support. You can put attachments on assets and inventory and people and contractors, and we'll talk about that a little bit. And those attachments can be virtually anything that you have on your that you can view on your desktop. One of the key things about our tool is that it's new. It was developed from scratch in 2010 using current .NET C# language. It's using Microsoft architectures. We use SQL Server as a database, and it has been designed with open APIs for integration to other best-of-breed systems. So we interface with MES, we interface with BIM, we interface with a number of different types of systems. And again, we look at interfacing with state-of-the-art technology partners. The BMS integration is built on BACnet framework, and we just finished a what they call Plug Fest out in the East Coast, where we've gone out and worked with all of the BACnet integrators and tested our product against it to make sure that we are current with their latest and greatest. We also are COBE compliant. COBE is Construction Operation Building Information Exchange. It's a lean process that allows data to be directly imported into the maintenance software, Proteus maintenance software, and it allows real-time data to trigger work orders based on runtime and out-of-state conditions. We also do the factory integration with PLCs in the same manner. So now I'm going to take a moment and give you just a brief overview of Proteus MMX and the product. It does have a service request capability, so that if you have people in the offices, on the shop floor that need work done that's not of a urgent nature, they can put in a request which can be managed, tracked, and allowed to organize work for the requesters. The process for requesting, when they put a request in, and again, the fields that show in this screen are controlled by you, the names of the fields are controlled by you, and you can decide what's required or not required. But when a requester puts a request in, they'll get an automatic notification that the request was received once it's transmitted. They can get notification of a change of status on a work order. They can get notification that work's complete or the work has been closed. So it's all integrated into the service request capability. The service requests themselves are controlled by the service request administrator, and that person will be able to see all of the various service requests and has the ability to either edit, they can email the request to somebody, they can accept it, they can decline it. So there are the fact that somebody puts something in to be done doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to get done. So this says the required date was September 28th. Well, here we sit on October 5th, and it obviously isn't going to get done. So I can change that and say, well, this isn't that high of a priority. I can say I'll have this done by the 12th. I can change the priority to a medium priority. I can assign it to somebody, and I can put a cost center associated with it. I can put a shift associated with it. So there's a lot of things that the person can do before they actually approve a work order. Once they save it, they then have the ability just to say, okay, I'm happy with this, and they can accept it. You notice there's a bunch of user fields. Okay, these are showing because I'm the administrator. If I was not the administrator of the system, these would not show. But if I want them to show, I have the ability to go into data fields and change the name of any field in the system. So in service requests, I have all these user fields. If I have some special requirement that I want to get from somebody, I can put the title of the field, and I can say that it's required or not. I can make it a date field, a decimal field, or a text field. I can change the location of where it appears on the screen, and I can control the rights based on roles. Who can see this? Okay, so my control is editable, visible, or cannot see it at all. We can do that with every field in the system. So our ability to work with all types of different industries is very easy, very straightforward because of that capability. We have key performance indicators on the home page. We have quick links. I can create a work order. I can create a call log. I can get at reports and settings. There's a number of other things that, based on rights and roles, you can allow. We can show scheduled versus unscheduled work, but I can filter that by a specific employee. So if I look at that employee, I'll see that 100% of that person's work is unscheduled. Okay. I can also see their backlog. I can see their weekly overview. We've got work orders by locations, okay? And you identify these locations and you'll see what's going on. You can drill down on them and see the specifics. So there's a high level of visibility in this system, allowing for management view. We have costs associated with it. We have costs by work order. And again, I can filter by start date and end date. And let me go back into January. And it'll give me costs by work order if I have costs in my system. So here you can see by work order, by location. It gives me work types and so forth, and I can drill down into the details of these. The key component of the system are the things I need to maintain. So you notice I have a filter in place here. I'm filtering, and I have the ability to filter by begins with, contains, ends with, equals, does not contain on every field. On date fields, you'll see date filters. Okay. So I have the ability to do filters. I can clear my filters right here. The icons we use are very straightforward, very easy to use. And now you see I have lots of assets in the system. Okay, this says that this particular asset is out of service for some reason. Okay, and I can filter and see only assets that are out of service if I would like to. And the system will show me then all assets that are out of service. Okay, I can also look for clear that filter, which is the broom, and you'll see the icons throughout the system. I can create new, I can copy, I can edit, I can view, I can delete if I have the authority, I can change the location of an asset, I can change the status of an asset, I can create a work order against an asset. I can print a barcode, and then I can update a runtime on an asset if I'm not interfaced to a building automation. Let's say that I've got a vehicle, and every Friday I take mileage readings and I want to trigger work orders for oil changes and tire rotations and other maintenance. I can update the runtime, and that will allow me to automatically trigger my master work orders based on the things that the vendor said I should do in order to properly maintain the asset. I can select assets and I can export them to Excel, PDF, or Word. I can clear my filters. I can change the length of a field or change the sequence of where fields are. So if I want my warranty date, for example, right now it's over on the right-hand side. I want it further to the left on the screen. I can move it up, and it'll move the warranty date over. I can also change column sizes, and once I do this for my particular view, it will be maintained. So if I want to make machine name a little larger and save that, it'll increase the field size for me. You notice it's a larger field now. I can sort by any field. So I can sort by machine number, machine name, serial numbers, asset tags, which can be different than the machine number. So if I have a barcode on a piece of equipment, it does not have to match this machine number, but the asset tag will tie to the specific asset machine number. I can sort ascending and descending, and I can do this throughout the entire system. I can control parts and set up various stock rooms, areas where I keep parts, whether I'm in a facility and I'm just tracking light bulbs and filters and belts, or I'm in a manufacturing environment and I've got hundreds of thousands of dollars of inventory. I can keep track of where it is. I have tools. Some tools need to be assets and be maintained. I need to do cord inspections. I need to do sharpening. I need to do regulatory inspections on specific tools. So tools can be assets and we can create work orders against them, but they can also be assigned to a work order so that when I'm doing a task and I need a lockout tagout process, I'll have the lock assigned as a tool to the work order. I can move parts around. So I can have my main storage area for my light bulbs, but I can move them to closets in different areas of the building, or I can have my major stock and my back stock areas. So the system's very flexible. The information that we keep on a part, including the min-max and things like that, model numbers, warranties, this is assets. We'll go to parts. And the information that I keep on parts is pretty unlimited. And again, I've got user fields. If we don't have enough information on a part, we have the user fields. I can see what work orders the part's used on, the history of usage. I can put attachments. So if I've got an MSDS safety sheet or some type of video or something to associate with this part in its usage, I'm able to attach things to it. Employees are the key to getting work done, and I can keep simple information, or I can just keep the employee name and employee number and what facility they're located with. These are facilities over here. I can put attachments on employees. They get assigned to different labor crafts. So I can define all sorts of different labor crafts. There's no limit in the system to the number of labor crafts. I can put rates associated with that labor craft, and when somebody closes a work order based on the hours, it will calculate the value of the work done. You can also put parts costs associated with it and so forth. System allows for contractors. In today's world, a lot of organizations do have contractors, and I can create a new contractor. I can put a code, a name, who's my contact there. Do I also buy parts from them? If I check this box, they're also a vendor of parts. So my elevator repair people, for example, or my fire extinguisher people from outside, or my lawn supply people, they'll charge me for the fertilizer or the chemicals that they spread separately as parts, okay? So I can use them as a vendor and as a contractor. We have an integrated purchasing module. Again, a lot of organizations have SAP or other purchasing systems. The key to Proteus MMX is that it does allow for integration to other systems, so that we can create a requisition in our system and pass it over to other systems very easily. When those parts are received in that system and paid for, we can receive the quantities and so forth and put them into the right stock locations. There's lots of reports within Proteus MMX. There's standard reports, and then there's the ability for custom reports. Remember, it's a SQL database. We use Crystal reports as our common report tool, but you can virtually use any SQL reporting tool. And again, with the filtering capability, we can create a lot of reports for people through the filtering and the existing reports. Let's talk about work orders. This is the stuff that gets done, okay? Work orders are critical. They're segregated in the system by two types of work orders automatically. Preventive maintenance work orders are the work orders that are scheduled. They are necessary to get done, to keep equipment in order based on the manufacturer's required specifications. Remember, going back to the legal aspects of maintenance, we want to make sure that we do what we need to do when we need to do it. So preventative maintenance is the stuff we schedule, and in a lot of cases, it's the stuff that organizations never get to, okay? The other type of maintenance is demand maintenance. Demand maintenance is the break-fix stuff. Production's down, okay? We've got a repair to do. So this is the stuff that, in a lot of cases, dominates what maintenance is doing every day. Remember, the description field is small here. We have that ability to go in our view, and make that description as large as we want, okay, so that we can read it more easily. So if that's something that I'm concerned with, I'll do that, and okay, so now I know exactly what I need to do here. Okay, so I need to clean and calibrate. Preventive maintenance work orders can be scheduled, and these are the things that are going to save your company time and money and save the asset life cycle. This little icon says there's an open work order on this particular piece of equipment. So again, there are ways, and I can filter and look at just open work orders, work order masters. This tells me that everything's being triggered properly, that I'm got my work orders out there, okay? So I can create tasks, I can schedule those tasks, I can do weekly, but let me just show you here quickly. We have a lot of different options in scheduling, and the key to scheduling is having flexibility. So I can do daily scheduling, okay? I can do it every day. I can do calendar day or business days. I know hospitals and airports and other businesses are open 365 days a year, but my key staff, when it comes to preventative maintenance, some of the best times are during the week. So I might want to say business days are Monday through Friday, and I wanted to get my PMs done during the week. I can do it every day, I can do it every 2 days, I can do it every 3 days. So just because it says daily you control the number of days, and I can also schedule on completion. So if I give my technician 2 days to do this, and it takes 2 days, I'm not rescheduling on top of each previous schedule. I'm not having multiple work orders come out when I didn't finish the last one. I can do weekly scheduling. I can do every week. I can do every 4 weeks. I can do every 3 weeks, whatever you need to do. I can pick specific days of the week, so I can do this every week on a Monday and a Friday. Again, I can give my technician a number of days to do it. When it gets to the monthly, again, I can pick every month or every 4 months or every 6 months or 5 months, whatever it might be. I can do it on a specific day of the month, so if I want everything to come out on the 1st, I can do that. Or I can have everything come out on the first Monday of the month. So tremendous amount of flexibility. In a case of a monthly, you might want to give your technician 10 or 15 days to do the job. Okay, again, we realize that people are busy, that it's going to take time to go from reactive maintenance to preventive maintenance, and this is a tool with Proteus MMX that's going to help you get there. You can do every year, okay, or every 5 years. Those are the ones that get forgotten, every 5-year things that you're supposed to do, okay? So schedule it once, and you never have to worry about it again. It's going to trigger and come out and remind you that you're going to need to do it. Tasks are unlimited in size. You can have very extensive tasks, and I'm going to open this up a little bit. And tasks can be very extensive in size. They can be very simple. It depends on what you need to do. Okay. Eagle provides over 685 extensive facility tasks for every type of business, whether it's restaurants and fans that you need to clean or hospitals with kitchens. We provide 685 tasks that are proven and tested by our clients that have estimated times and very detailed steps. If the step's not applicable to your piece of equipment, you can edit it, take out steps or add steps based on the model and go forward. But this is something, again, that people have trouble with, and the tasks that we provide help give you a jump start as to how to implement good PM practices. Tasks can be rich text, so I can emphasize things in my tasks. I can edit this and say, follow all safety instructions. Okay. So this type of tasking helps you and helps your organization make sure that the right things are being done in the right way. Okay, safety and maintenance and cleanliness, if your organization is a 5S organization, 6S is safety. We want to make sure that we help you with the processes and procedures to implement a well-run maintenance practice. And that's something that Eagle is well positioned to do. We don't just supply the software, we have the expertise, we have the staff to help you look at processes and procedures, because like any tool, this is just a tool. It's how you use it. And how you use it is just as critical as picking the right tool. Okay, so Eagle is well positioned to make sure that you are not only investing in a quality tool with Proteus MMX, but that we help your organization get to the right level in terms of 5S, 6S, etc. We have rights and roles. We interface in healthcare environments. We interface with Active Directory. We've got banks that we interface with Active Directory. This is a hosted product, but it can go on internal servers. we can work with IT staff, and it can go on your internal corporate network. There's all sorts of options that are controlled by the administrator. The help, and this is nice because we have the ability in the system to have you create work tickets. We have the ability to have manuals and quick reference cards and so forth online. The service requests, by the way, we do have a survey capability, and you can configure the survey questions. We store the results, and we can notify people if there's a bad survey for some reason. You can identify different shipping and billing addresses. Who can put in a service request if you're not using Active Directory. We do have an audit trail for FDA and other JCO compliance, etc. We can identify different countries and currencies, departments and divisions. And I mentioned non-working days to get that PM scheduled. If you're in the Middle East watching this, you would probably schedule Friday and Saturday and reschedule work to the next working day for PMs. Or if you're in the US, you might say Saturday and Sunday are our days, non-business days primarily, and our staff is here Monday through Friday. So the system's configurable and flexible for all types of organizations. We can put in asset categories. We can put in different purchasing accounts, service request modifications, track root cause failure, identify different priorities, different work types, and again, there's no limit to the slicing and dicing that can be done in the system. And when we work with your organization, one of the things we strive and work with you on is what information do you need, not only today, but 5 years from now? What's going to be important to protect your organization, to protect the assets, and to make sure that your company is competitive and serving its customers very well. We have cost centers. We can track budgets, okay, so that as you close work orders, the budget, the work orders get charged to specific budget areas. You're able to look at the cost of labor and materials against a budget, and even though this example doesn't show having a budget, it shows the amount spent year to date, and if it would have a budget, it would show the amount remaining in the budget. So our example here gives you a good idea of the types of things. There's no limit to budget accounts, what you call them. I've got clients that, you know, set up accounts for light bulbs and for different things that don't relate to the chart of accounts in the organization. I have other clients that use the chart of accounts within the organization as their budget areas. And that's all up to you. We can auto print reports, and again, there's a lot of flexibility in the system. So that's a pretty high level overview of Proteus MMX. And the real key is that all of our best intentions, we need to track things, okay? So if we're not tracking, we don't really know for sure. We can't prove to management. There's not a CFO alive that when you walk into them and say, I think we need to do or spend, doesn't want details. And Proteus MMX as a tool is going to help you give the details that the CFO is going to look for, okay? So as a recap, we've covered who is Eagle. We've looked at why a CMMS is important, what it can do for you, what it can do for your organization. We've taken a high-level look at Proteus MMX, and now I'm going to open up, if you have on your screen any questions, please feel free to go into the chat and ask any questions that you might have. So I'll wait a moment, and if you have any questions that I can answer, we are more than happy to do a one-on-one, more in-depth presentation for any of you at any time. We are in a global environment, so we can do it at a more convenient time if you're in the Middle East or in European countries. We can do it if you're on the West Coast or late evening in the U.S. time. We're able to cover that. So again, I want to thank you today for your attention. If there are any questions, feel free to contact us. You can use sales@eaglecmms.com. You can go to our website, and there are some resources there. There are some videos. We do have the ability to work, again, with all types of industries, and we thank you very, very much for your attention. And unless I see a question, I'm going to, at this point in time, say thank you again very much, and good day.